Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Heading to 1222 Norwegian Street. Please make sure your seatbelt is fastened. For any questions, press the call support button to speak with a rider support agent.